Hello everybody and welcome back to the F1 2016 live career mode on YouTube, where we stream live our career mode walkthrough from the first season all the way to season 10. But we're here for round number 3 of our career mode in the Toro Rosso, and as last time out in Bahrain, if you saw at the end, we crashed. We crashed out, went under the curb and lost the back end completely. So a bit disappointed with that, but we will have to take it on the chin. As you can see, we lost the rivalry, unfortunately. In qualifying, if you watched it, we kind of got out-qualified by only 100th of a second. So we're quite close between me and Carlos in terms of quali pace, but it all determines the race pace as we will go. Before we start, I'm just going to quickly mention we have got a new upgrade coming for Russia, which is the downforce on there. So hopefully we'll have a bit of an improvement for us for next time out in Russia. But anyway, we're going to be heading now to the track and head for the Chinese Grand Prix. Let's see what we can do with this.
Hard work, ingenuity and ambition. All things you'll find in abundance amongst the 15 million people of Shanghai over there to our southeast. And we've got plenty of that here on the grid as well. 20,000 horsepower, give or take, chomping at the bit to be unleashed for the Chinese Grand Prix. Shanghai International Circuit then, a 16-corner high-speed thrill ride. The long and ever-tightening right-hander at turns 1 and 2 tests a driver's patience, and the flat, open to the elements location, test their skill, and a crosswind. 2 DRS zones will assist passing, and overtaking is available into turn 1, and of course down the kilometre-long back straight into the hairpin at turn 14. Joining me once again to take you through this race is the effervescent Anthony Davidson, and I'm very much looking forward to it getting underway. You raced here, of course, didn't you, back in your Super Aguri days in that infamous Chinese Grand Prix of 2007?
Yeah, that's right. I didn't last that long, though, unfortunately. Qualifying had gone pretty well, but my brakes failed quite early in the race, around lap 10 or 11, something like that. And of course, back in 2004, I was the very first Formula 1 driver to complete a lap of this circuit. Just thought I'd mention that for you, Crofty. You like a good stat. It's a fairly tough circuit on the brakes here, though. You know, there's that long back straight down into turn 14, and then you got turn 6 and 11. They're quite heavy as well. On top of that, managing your front tyre wear is always a challenge around here, so there's a lot to keep in mind during the Grand Prix.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So before the off, let's remind ourselves of yesterday's qualifying session with a look at the starting grid. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, with Nico Rosberg alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Vettel, Ricciardo, Kimi Raikkonen, and Verstappen, Bottas, Alonso, Massa, and Roman Grosjean.
So here we are then for the Chinese Grand Prix, and as you can see, for the first time ever on the F1 game, we are going to be racing in the wet. I've not even done a single lap, so this is going to be interesting. But as you can see, that it's going to dry up later in the race, which is massive for me because I hate wet racing, as you may have seen in my previous videos in the past. We aren't that great in the wet, so hopefully we can maybe out-jinx it and maybe do very well on there. As long as we keep the car on the track, we should be okay. So I'm going to add just a little bit of fuel, but not too much, just to maybe help us a little bit with burning some fuel whilst in the wet. So we're going to see how that goes, and let's go on to the track now for the Chinese Grand Prix, as we will head now for the formation lap. So we'll see how this goes. We're in 12th on the grid after a modest qualifying. We only got out qualified by our teammate by 100th of a second, so nothing between us. So we'll see how this goes then. It is going to dry up, which is massive for the race, but kind of scared at the same time. This is the first time racing in the wet, so not going to expect to do well here, but we'll have to see if this rain deteriorates as quickly as possible. So be nice to see how this feature works. Oh, just go off the track there a little bit there. But if you're new around here, make sure to like this video if you're new, and subscribe for daily F1 2016 gameplay. We'll be back tomorrow once again for Russia in the career mode, and the first of the series on F1 2016 at Silverstone in the Mercedes of Lewis Hamilton. So that's going to be quite a good challenge for me tomorrow, as it's going to be quite an interesting race, this one, as we've got it's not heavy, which is good for me. I've not tested out intermediate weather, as I mentioned, first time out in the rain, and should be quite an interesting task. So if anyone's got any advice for me, let me know in the comments, and then that'll be fantastic. So my aim in this race is to survive, obviously, the wet stages, and then I'm going to try and do a one stop if I can, depending on the weather, and go on to the medium tyre and see if we can get to the end on that one tyre, depending when this rain stops. So it's going to be... we'll have to wait and see how this pans out, but it's going to be a tough challenge, this is, as we're struggling a bit in the team. We've been beaten by Sainz in both the first two races. As you saw last time out, we did crash, so we have lost a bit of confidence within the team, and we need to really prove a point that we are that young rising rookie who wants to be a top F1 driver. So we're going to see how this pans out as we come into the final corner, as I have got no control over the car now. And we'll see how this goes as we'll be coming now into our box for the start of this Chinese Grand Prix here on the Ryan83 YouTube channel, live on the air right now with uninterrupted coverage as we get ready for the start of this Chinese Grand Prix. As we're going to get ready now, last car coming to the grid as we get set to go for this race in China. You can just see the drips of water from my mirror there on the left hand side, which is quite kind of cool there, I've got to say. So here we go then, round 4 at China, round 3, sorry, I forgot about that, and we are away here. Bit of a mistake there for me, and a fantastic start there from us. We're going to go straight to lean, saving a bit of fuel. Nearly went to the back of Alonso, being glued there to him. Just going to take the inside of him. And apparently got a warning there for contact with Massa, so I don't know what happened there. So we're going to try and go around the outside of, I believe it is Bottas. Bottas just gave me a little bit of a tap there. It's going to feather it very slowly here and get back on the power. And we're up to P7, so a good start there. Verstappen's had a moment. Down the inside of Verstappen, and also Raikkonen, I believe. So we're up to P5, so what a fantastic start there from us. Up to 5th place. So maybe this is our speciality, I'm guessing. Oh, went over the curb there, not what I wanted. But just going to have to take this very slowly right now. As the game obviously has been changed from 2015 in terms of the wet driving, so you have to be very careful on power and exit. So a good start here from us. So I actually went down to first gear there, so that was my bad. Get back on the power, up to Rich now, to try and fend off from the Red Bull of Verstappen. Always going down the inside, very cheeky there from Max. Going to try and hook it around the outside of Verstappen. And we do so. So good defending there for myself. Back up to lean. So a very impressive first lap here from us. We've just gone a bit wide out of the final corner, as Hamilton sets a 58.5. And here comes Max once again. Just trying to hold it around the outside. Just can't get it done. Max gets through. Oh, and we've just been glued to him. We've been glued to Max. Not what I wanted, but still we're in the points, which is what I want, where I wanted to be, if I'm honest. But just being glued to him there. maybe applied some super glue or something to our car, to our front wing. Didn't really help us there, but still, I would take where we are at the minute. Points is the goal in this race, and obviously we need to get a right spot on call here by our engineer. He's been a bit quiet, I've got to say, at the minute. But we've got the medium tyres ready, just in case it stops raining. Right now. Just need to get back our groove. But luckily no damage from Verstappen with simulation damage on, so we're very lucky there, which is the main important factor. But it seems that we're very comfortable in the wet here, a lot against the AI, which is very promising. Gonna keep it in forfeit. Get back on the power, back up to Rich. Remember, there is no DRS in these wet conditions, and we pulled away actually from Alonso, which is quite good. And we're going to put it back to lean after the long straight. Down the first gear. So we seem very comfortable, I've got to say. We're keeping up with the leaders, which I believe is the first time I've... Oh, and we've gone wide again. Got to be very careful of that last corner. We need to brake a bit earlier. So I cannot understand now that we need to brake just a tad bit earlier than usual. And for this corner as well, as we lost out to Verstappen here a lap ago. Just get a nice line through turn 1 here. A very nice line. Verstappen's been held up here by Bottas, who's in P6. With Raikkonen in P5. And so we're 4 seconds up actually on our last time, so it's pretty cool, I guess. Only 1.5 seconds behind Verstappen, who's right on the back of Bottas now. So the Williams, a lot of you will know, isn't that great in the wet, so that's massive. And Alonso actually is holding people up, so that's another factor, which is good for us. Come into this double left-hander here. Massive tank slapper there from us. The rain stopping in 15 minutes time, interestingly enough. So I think we are going to stick with the one stopper of putting the medium tyres on, which will, I think, get us to the end, I believe. So that's massive news to hear. It's still wet at the minute, so there's no point in fighting there, but Alonso's still holding off the pack behind, which is a massive thing. Come into the hairpin and just keep it there. It is brightening up slowly and the rain is slowly stopping. We're going to just take it nice and easy, and for the first time this race we actually nailed the last corner a lot better than we did before, as we are now in the 55s, which I will definitely take. So far. You come into turn 1 and then turn 2.
We're running an excess of fuel. We can turn up the engine to mix mode 3 if you need it. Turn fuel to rich.
No, I won't, Jeff. May as well keep it in lean for now, then burn all the fuel right now. But so far, just braking a lot later then for this corner, as we've gained a bit on Verstappen, who's really getting held up here by oh, massive tank slapper there, but we got away with that. So the question is, when will these guys pit and what tyres will they go on? I've got a suspicion they may go onto the soft tyre. The majority of this top 7 will go onto the soft tyre. We will go onto the medium tyre and hopefully get to the end on them. Oh, we've had a lock up there. First lock up of the race. Just trying to be a bit cheeky there. Just short shifting now a bit. Back up to Rich. Still got a nice gap behind, which is a massive thing, as Massa's got past Alonso finally. But it's okay, nothing too serious at the minute.
Shown to be within the optimal temperature range.
As Verstappen finally gets past Bottas. And Bottas elevated down to 7th. As Hamilton still leads this race. Just get a bit of wheel spin there. So we're only not far off actually the pace, so
5.0 seconds.
so we're 5 seconds ahead of our teammate, which is very nice to hear. That we're actually beating our teammate for the first time properly without any incidents right now. So this could be the start of something new, guys, right now. As I'm just getting very comfortable now with this wet weather conditions. And we've even gone purple in the first sector. That's how quick I'm going right now. I'm feeling so confident now. We have set the car, by the way, guys, with the mostly downforce setup, baseline set that you can get, which is the one before high downforce. So the car very nice in this part of the lap, which I'm very happy with, as we're right on the back now of Bottas for the first time. We're putting a bit of pressure on these two cars in front, which is good. And so some of the cars now starting to struggle now. We're only 7 tenths behind. Master's only 3.4 behind. Back on the power. We get some slipstream now from Bottas. We get a nice run here. Won't be a pass, but we're going to get ever closer to him. Back down to lean. Go into the hairpin. So we get that last corner nailed nicely there. Back up to Rich again.
The gap to the leader is 12.3 seconds.
So we're only 12 seconds off Hamilton, but not really bothered about Hamilton at the minute. We're not going to win this race, unfortunately. Not yet. Car's not really properly upgraded yet, as we've just been very aggressive into one there. As we get ever closer to the back of the Williams here. One of my former teams in career mode. Let's get a nice exit there. And again we go purple in the first sector. Once again. So we're feeling very confident then in the first sector. So we're right into the back now of the Williams of Bottas, who breaks early for this corner, and we've just realised there isn't any DRS, so we're going to try and go around the outside of him into this corner, and he's just got no grip in that Williams, and we go down the inside and we move up to P7. Oh, and he's just given us a little bit of a tap there, did Bottas, but we keep it on the track and we are still in P7, so we may get a little cheeky word from the stewards for that, as we did get past him, but he just gave us a little bit of contact. But we are up to P7, so the comeback is back on, but obviously Verstappen's gone. Just trying to get the power now. Need to just check on the tyres actually. They look okay at the minute. And we are slowly putting away now from Bottas, which is massive and good to hear. It's a bit of a lock up there. Just being a bit cheeky now with the throttle now. Oh wow. That's not what I need. Another penalty for us in the season. Hopefully that doesn't affect us there, but that last corner has been a pain in the backside for us. So, gotta be very careful not to get another one here. So I wonder if Bottas will get a penalty as well for the contact, or just been given a warning. Most likely, oh my lord, the back end went out there again. couldn't get a break here. Anyway, need to stop focusing about the penalty, because that's what happened to me in Australia. I got it in my mindset and just didn't get up to pace like I would have, and it cost me a chance of a decent finish that day. So we need to stop focusing about that. We know we've got to get at least a 3-second gap behind to the car, whoever it is. Bottas starting to get a bit closer, getting a bit close to us now. As here comes Bottas down the straight. Has he got DRS? Okay, he hasn't got DRS. I thought he had DRS there. But he moves back up to P7. You get a really good exit here on Bottas. We could get a position here, guys. We could retake this position. Down the inside of Bottas into turn 1. Keep current. Just need to keep an eye on the weather at the minute. We don't know when the weather's going to ease. That's the next question, which is a good point. Weather condition. Okay, that's just spiced it up a bit with the rain easing off. Do I stay on the strategy of one stopping? Possibly. Because remember, the track's still got to dry up, remember. To dry territory. And it's not there yet, of course. Still got... No, turning way too early for the corner. We've got to remember that. The track has to get dry enough for the dry tyres. So we're not there yet. I don't think we'll be there for quite a while yet. Let's get a bit of grip in these intermediates by going a bit wide. Gonna go up to Rich and try and defend from Bottas here. So we're going to call our intermediates down this wet patch. And here comes Bottas. Down the inside of Bottas again. And we hold on to position once again. And we maintain P7 for the time being. So doing very well here to defend. And we're putting away from our teammate even more, which is fantastic to hear. So I'm going to go back to the wet patch, just cool the tyres down a bit. As we've gone up in the first sector again, purple. Purple first sector. Get back on the power straight away. Vettel's got issues, I wonder. That's interesting to hear. So Vettel's got a problem with his Ferrari, which is interesting to hear. That's maybe massive. So any Vettel fans in the chat, I'm sorry, but your man may have to retire, possibly, or lose positions. As we're starting to pull away from Bottas now, which is good.
We have excess fuel weighing us down. Set the fuel mix to mode 3. Let's push.
Just trying to avoid the curb there, but we're starting to pull away now from Bottas, which is very good. As we're going to come into the hairpin once again. Just brake a bit earlier than usual. Just want to get the car absolutely planted for the hairpin. We've got good traction over the Williams, which is good. No one's pitting yet, which is good as well. Just need to know when they pit is the question. As someone's come in the pit lane, I've just spotted that at the bottom. It could be Massa in the pit lane, so I wonder why he's popped in early. I wonder? That's the question. So as long as we stay out, hopefully this track doesn't dry up as quickly as I would have liked. And I think there is...
Estimating from Verstappen's tyres, we're expecting him to come into the pits within the next 5 laps.
Just got a little bit of a cheeky lock up there, as we're starting to get to that stage now. Maybe if the track dries up quickly, maybe time to switch to dries a bit quicker. But if I can get to around about lap 14 before the engineer tells us to pit for the dries, then we'll go on the mediums. Then if not, we'll go on to the softs and do 2 soft stints to the end.
Okay, looks like some of those puddles are clearing. We're still on the right tyre for the time being, but we're not a million miles away from slick conditions.
Okay, that's good from Jeff to let me know about that. Jeff's been very quiet today, which is good. He's learnt his lesson from Bahrain, which really cost us a chance, really, of a point at one stage of the race. Back up to on there as we come down the straight. Hamilton's just gone on to the pit straight, start his lap. Just got a bit of oversteer there. The track is definitely drying up very quickly. Still not dry tyres though. We're getting close to it. Set a new fastest lap for us. Nearly got the 3-second buffer over Bottas, which is what we need. Because that will definitely take 7th place. As Sainz has got through, so maybe they're pitting now. That's going to be interesting. Or Sainz got actually past Bottas, so that is good. So the 2 Toro Rossos moving up the pecking order. I'm going to pit same time as these guys do, so you need to just keep an eye on what they do right now. It's still not yet ready for the dry tyres, I feel. But as soon as the guys in front pit, that's when we're pitting. So they're my buffer to pit right now. So if they pit now, we're going to jump onto a set of the soft tyre. And then do 2 soft stints, potentially to the end of the race. I think that could be a starting sign that we're starting to lock up our tyres, which is not what we want, of course. It's getting a lot of grip now. This could be the time now, 59%. So they are starting to go off the tyres. Whoa, massive, massive, massive lock up there from us. Massive moment there. But they're staying out. Oh, we've gone wide as well. I think we'll pit next lap, I think. I think we'll pit this lap. I think we'll pit next time by.
The gap to teammate is 6.5 seconds.
Starting to struggle a bit. That last sector, very bad. But still got a greasy track right now. I wonder if most of these cars will try and stay out on their intermediates. Just been very cautious right now. Sainz is 8 seconds behind.
Verstappen could be due to pit within the next couple of laps.
As we come then, we see a bit of blue sky emerging in the clouds, as you may have seen right now. Just being very carefully in lean, but once the dry tyres, when we get the dry tyres on, we'll absolutely smash it on the soft tyres and burn our fuel up which is what I want to do right now.
We think there's a viable strategy change available to us. Would you like to keep to the current plan or try the new one?
Is anyone pitting? No one's pitting. Someone is in the pit lane. Confirm change.
Copy.
We're going to pit now, boys. We're pitting now. We saw, I think it was a Ferrari. I don't know who's in the pits, but everyone's coming in now, so we're pitting now.
We're considering switching to an alternate strategy. Do you want to change or stick to plan A?
Keeping it cool, but we're going to be... Oh, this is going to be a bit embarrassing. Right now, our teammate's going to get held here. We've got first dibs as everyone's coming in for some dry tyres. We're going onto the softs. Oh, I feel so sorry for my teammate. A bit of karma for last time out in Bahrain.
We'll be doing one more stop today.
Oh my lord.
Left in our strategy.
That was a bit worrying. But we come out in P7. Getting a bit of time though on Vettel, which is Vettel. So, I wonder if Vettel's still got the problem that Jeff was mentioning to us. Well, now, but we've got a nice buffer over our teammate, so that's massive.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS.
Okay, DRS is now enabled, so I'm going to stay in lean though for the time being, just to get a bit of feel for these soft compound tyres. And then we'll push. But obviously we have the advantage of Vettel, who is struggling with his car. I don't know what's going on with his car, but... How much fuel have we got actually? That's the next question. We've got 4 laps of extra spare fuel, which is what we need right now. As Hamilton actually stayed out, so Hamilton may lose the lead of the race here by staying an extra lap longer than normal. So that's going to be interesting. So quicker than Vettel in the first sector, but I don't think that's going to make any odds right now. Shift it down to first gear there. As we're keeping up with Vettel, I know he's got a slight bit of problems with his car, but I'll take this. We're ahead of Alonso, who's got past our teammate, so at the minute, we're on course for our first points of the season, which is what I really wanted, really. And we're going to beat Sainz as well, which is good. As we're catching up to Vettel now, he's right on the back of him now, which is what we need. As we've gone purple in the first sector as well. But obviously the track is evolving from the wet conditions. Look at the downforce. This downforce is helping us a lot in this sector. So absolutely working a treat here as we're right on the back now of Sebastian Vettel as we've just cut the corner a tad bit there. So the stewards are going to be keeping a little close eye on me there. We don't want another penalty, which is not what I want. Right now, as we've gone purple again in the middle sector. Starting to feel a bit comfortable now with this track.
Is 8.2 seconds. Right, some information on Hamilton. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Massive moment. Hamilton, 2 races now. He's had issues with his car. And he's slowing down. We've got a beautiful run on Vettel here. Got to stay behind him now. As Ricciardo now sets the fastest lap of 44.8 for the Australian. Then Raikkonen beats him again for a 44.2. I'm going to get DRS then on Vettel. 45, I'll take that. It's a bit of oversteer. Vettel's gone wide. We're going to take the inside and we move up to P6. So a good move there from us. with Vettel having issues, so now we need to really hunt down Max Verstappen, the next man in our radar, who we were fighting with at the start of the race, but obviously we had some issue locking up and stuff. As again we've gone purple in the first sector, as Massa now the quickest man on track with a 43.9. So the track getting even drier as we go along, as we're going to keep it in 6th gear, but we've got a lot more downforce than Vettel, so we're good in this middle part of the track, but on the straights we are sitting ducks. But I'm not really bothered about that. As long as we get clear or get a good distance from the car behind, we should be alright, as we are doing there with Vettel right about now. So that's what we need. It's a bit too early in the corner there, but we've still gone purple in the middle sector. So we're starting to pull away then from Sebastian, who is struggling a lot, I've got to say, which is not what you want to see for any Sebastian Vettel fans in the chat. As Hamilton now goes to a 43.1. As Ricciardo now has gone quickest, then Raikkonen again sets the new fastest lap of the race right about there.
Okay, estimating from Verstappen's tyres, we're expecting him to come into the pits within the next 5 laps.
As we
Leader, 22.5 seconds. Our gap to our teammate is 8.2 seconds.
So we're comfortably ahead of our teammate. Vettel's still with us, so probably the biggest battle we've had so far in our young career right about now. Oh, that was way too early. Just trying to hold off here from Sebastian. He's starting to get a bit of a feel then for trying to pass us then. Just trying so hard to try and defend from Sebastian right now. What are we pitting onto? That's the next question. I have no idea what strategy we're going for. Lap 20. What are we going on though? That's the question. We're going to another set of the softs, and here comes Vettel then. Down to the inside and moves up back to P6. It's a good battle this between me and Seb for 6th place. Just get a beautiful run through that last corner. Get back into the slipstream of our teammate, not our teammate, Sebastian Vettel down the inside, and we take back P6. So a good little scrap this. Got to keep wary of the cars behind though, because they're catching us up. Not by much, but they are catching. So we really need to get a move on right now. Ferrari powered versus 2015 powered Ferrari. This should be fun. So we've got this middle sector advantage, like I mentioned, with the downforce. As we've got a yellow flag, which has been cleared, as Fernando Alonso is out of the race. So one of our rivals behind us is out. Could that maybe bring the safety car out, possibly, if it's in an unsafe thing? We haven't seen the safety car yet in the series, which is a bit of a surprise, because I know a lot of people have had the safety car in their career mode so far. We're just unlucky, I guess. But so Alonso is out, which helps us a lot in terms of holding on to a points paying position. Just come into the hairpin again. Trying to hold off Sebastian now. Who's that behind, I wonder? And here comes Vettel then in that Ferrari powered engine, Oh, that's what I needed to hear. Vettel's car is now back up to 100% power. Not what I needed. Let's here he comes. He's going to try and go for a move here. I can just sense it. Just can't get it done though. He's right on the back and he's bringing someone along. I think that could be Sainz actually, who's joining the party. So Sainz has done pretty well, I've got to say. I wonder if he's on the super softs, I wonder, or he is on the same tyre as me and Sebastian. Just one a bit wide there. Sebastian's getting very hungry right now for a move. Just checking on our fuel. Fuel's looking okay. Still got nearly now 10 laps to go of this race. Trying to defend now. We're going to hold to the outside line as Vettel will go past us once again. Quite comfortably actually. Look at the speed he's got in that Ferrari powered engine. The 2016 engine. We get a good exit out of this last corner as Vettel pits, so wonder what Vettel's going on, I wonder. So everyone's coming in the pit lane, so that's interesting. So I wonder if they're going to go on to the medium tyre, I wonder. That's an interesting call there from the team. Very interesting call from the team. So we're going to stay out right now. Tyres are okay at the minute. So if they're on the mediums, then don't really need to know about that, Jeff, considering we're not fighting with Magnussen at the minute. But I've got to say, pace is looking pretty good, I've got to say. Even though we're 17 seconds behind Verstappen, but I may pit now and just get a set of the soft tyre on and just try and get to the end. As we come down the straight then. No one's pitting yet though. Just gone a bit wide there. Out of the last corner, we're going to stay out again. And we've got the pit window now. So I gotta guess Sebastian Vettel is on the medium compound tyre. He has to be on that tyre. If he's on the softs, then he will be struggling at the end of this race. Right now, but we've been called into the pits for our last stop.
Okay, gap ahead is 18.7 seconds.
Just coming then into the middle sector where we've been very strong overall. You just get that car nicely turned in. So we come into the double left-hander once again. It will be a set of the soft compound tyre again. We've got a nice gap to Grosjean, who I think's just past Perez. So Perez having some issues. So there's a nice little scrap going on from what I can see. So we need to be careful. There's a lot of people in the pit lane, so that is the call to come in right now. But it'll be interesting to see what tyres they go on. So we're about to find out. So Rosberg's in. And is he staying on the softs? The answer to that question is yes. So we will dive into the pits now. Just got to follow strategy, follow the pack. We get that absolutely spot on once again by the team. See if we can get ahead now of Vettel. That's the big question, talking point. Are we going to get ahead of Sebastian right about now as we go into our pit box? Come on, boys, get us a good stop there. Oh, what a stop. That is 2 seconds flat. What a stop from the boys. But Vettel has got past on the medium tyre. So we are in P10, and we've just got ahead of our teammate as well. So obviously pitting later, obviously we'll lose the undercut to Vettel, but Vettel on the harder tyre, so that's going to be interesting with our teammate behind as well. So we've got to think about this now. We want to beat our teammate, of course, but can we beat Sebastian Vettel? That's going to be the massive talking point in the paddock. A rookie beating a legend of the sport in the current era right now. That's going to be the big question on everyone's horizon right now. Obviously with us on the quicker tyre, we should be quicker than Sainz. And I think Grosjean hasn't pitted yet. There's a lot of people ahead of us who have not made their last stops, but we'll have to see. Turned a bit too early there. Just trying to get back on the power. We're already 1.5 seconds ahead of Carlos Sainz in that Toro Rosso. So that fuel saving during the wet stage has actually helped us here. And now we just got to pull away as quickly as possible right now. So we've got to try and catch up past Gutierrez and then back to Sebastian Vettel. As Gutierrez finally pits. And we've got some clean air now ahead. So we're going to be gaining some positions right now. Bottas is in. And so is Perez. So we're up to P7. Got to start thinking about fuel as well.
Right, some information on Hamilton. It seems they fixed whatever the problem was. They're coming back up to speed.
So we're only 1.6 seconds ahead of Sainz. So Sainz doing very well right now on those medium tyres. Not really going to fight with Sebastian now. My main goal is to beat my teammate. That's the goal in this race. So we really need to get a move on. We have got that 3-second penalty, remember. We need to really extend the gap. And we are starting to build that gap up, which is good.
The fastest car in front is 0.3 seconds.
So we need to really start building this gap now to Sainz and hold on. I think either way we're going to score a point if we don't get another penalty, as Ricciardo now sets a 1:39, and then when I say that, Rosberg now sets a 38.2, so they are on the charge now, is the pack in front. So we've just gone a bit wide there. It's very close between me and Sainz right now. It's a good inter-team battle going on here. Set another 140.2. So now the gap's up to 2.2. So we only need 0.8 of a second in the last 6 laps to really hold off Sainz and beat him for the first time this season, which will be a nice feeling, I have to say. So he's gained a bit of time in the first sector. Not what I wanted. Starting to build a bit of a gap now, again, to our teammate, who doesn't like the middle sector, so we're very strong in this middle sector to our teammate. Look at the gap now. He was 1.8 seconds. It's now 2.5, so he's lost a chunk of time in that middle sector. Got to start thinking about fuel though. I have to be thinking about that. Sainz is now 2.7 seconds behind at this point, as Hamilton now sets the fastest lap of the race with his car back up to speed. into first gear, then back up to second. Just get that absolutely nailed on the coffin there. What's the gap now? It's 2.6 seconds, so we only need to find 4 tenths. Alright, we can find the time. Just want to do one over science. Just be fantastic if we can. So the gap 2.8 seconds, so we've actually gained a bit on him there.
We'll finish with a little extra fuel, so you have some in hand to run a faster engine mode for a bit. Okay, some information on Magnussen. They're speeding up again, so I expect they've fixed whatever the problem was.
So we are putting away ever so slightly to our teammate. This is what we need.
There's 5 laps of fuel, it is 6.9 seconds.
Bloody hell, Jeff's on a bit of a spaz there. Saying 2 things at once. Don't know what he was on about. Back up to Rich down the straight. We're actually now ahead of what we need to be between us and Sainz now. It's up to 3 seconds, which is what we need. So we need to keep extending this gap.
Low chance of rain now. If the situation changes, we'll let you know.
So come on to the straight now. Start lap 25. Only 4 laps to go then. What's the gap now? It is... oh, it's now exactly 3 seconds. Got to keep pushing now. Need to keep that 3-second buffer, remember. Really pushing the boundaries now. And I do have a 3-second penalty for going wide at the last corner on consecutive laps in the wet conditions, and he's just gained a little bit of time there, 3/100ths. So he's back in under 3 seconds now, is Sainz. Massive tank slapper there. So what's the gap now? 3.2, so we're back ahead of Carlos. That's what we need. Doing fine on fuel, which is the most important thing. As I've just accidentally shifted down to first gear neutral there, which is definitely what I did not need right now. So we need to really push that gap up. We've lost a lot of time there. We lost a second from that. So now the hard work begins right now. That little mistake that we made there may have just cost us 7th place. Actually no, it won't. I was going to say it may put us ahead of Sainz in the standings, but I don't think that's going to happen. Just been a bit aggressive now. We just gained a 10th on him in the first sector. This is where we're strong though. Strong in this part of the lap here. So comes the double left-hander. Just getting a bit confident now, the car.
Gap to car in front is 9.8 seconds.
Just getting half a second again in the middle sector. We are starting to get a bit of a grip, a bit of a feel for this car now. Right at the end of the race. Back to standard. So we're coming up then to 2 laps to go then. Just a bit wide, but we just get on it. Back in the 140s, which I'm quite happy with.
They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Sainz has come back there with us. So the middle sector, we need to get a really good first middle sector here on Sainz. Just need to check fuel quickly. Got just about enough fuel actually. So the gap's now 2 seconds, so he is coming back at us. So it's going to be extremely close as our tyres now are getting to the cliff. Or starting to get to that cliff now. As we've got a yellow flag. Verstappen's going slowly here. What's gone on with Max here?
No overtaking through the caution zone. Be careful until you see the greens.
Oh, Verstappen, don't park there, mate. Do not park there. And that's actually helped me a bit there. Actually, so Verstappen's little parking there has actually helped us a bit. Right there, so that's massive, but it's held up the pack as well. So the gap has increased a bit, hopefully. But what was going on there? I wonder. We could be finishing in P6 here. Possibly. So we come on to the final lap of the race. Massive moment there from us. Just about held it there, but Sainz is all over the back of us now. We are on literally loose ends now with this car. I don't think, unless Sainz has got a penalty, we're going to hold on to P6, but 7th place will be very nice on our list here.
There's only 1 lap of fuel remaining.
Oh, that's not a good sign. 1 lap of fuel. So 1.2 seconds is the gap behind. So I think the lowest position will come in 7th, but it'll be our first points of the season, which is a massive achievement for me. And a massive confidence boost as well for us to go to Russia. Now we've got our very first points for Toro Rosso, which is very good for us, I've got to say. So we just lose the back end there again. As Nico Rosberg wins here in China, as he did in real life, so props to Rosberg for winning. And we're just now trying to hold off our teammate, which I think we will. But unfortunately we'll have the penalty, which will cost us P6, which is a bit annoying, but we did go wide, so I do take full responsibility for that. But we're just struggling on fuel, so I will have to submit to Sainz here. But we're going to come home for our first points of the season, finally, as we go into P7 with Sainz not getting a penalty, and we get it done there for 7th place. So I'll take that on the chin, guys. So that's a good race, that.
So another fantastic victory for the Silver Arrows. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get the most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. But credit to the driver as well, though. There's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the scenes without a talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And here are our podium drivers today after that excellent race. They've excelled here, as they so often do, and it's a well-deserved victory. Mercedes, then, are on top today.
So there is Rosberg then winning the Chinese Grand Prix, but the big news is that we have finally scored points in our first season. So let's get in the chat right now some hype with the points. So in the comments, guys, put hashtag hype points or points hype in the chat. So we're going to hear from Crofty again now, so I'll let you listen to that.
And now let's take a look at the driver's standings. Well, the lead at the top has come down after a poor result for our points leader. Moving on to the driver of the day then. Anthony Davidson, who would you go for? And now let's take a look at the constructors' standings. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. There was also a strong showing from the Mercedes team today as they make their way up the standings. That's it for today's Grand Prix, and from Ant and I, it's goodbye and see you again next time.
So we never heard from Davidson there on driver of the day, so that's a bit annoying. But Rosberg wins then from 3 seconds from Raikkonen, with Ricciardo in third and Hamilton dropped down the pecking order. So the big moment of that race has to be Max Verstappen. And where is he actually finished? He finished in 21st place, so I don't know what happened there, but we'll have to see. But on to the standings then for us, and we have finally got points on the board. 6 points, as we are now up to 11th place, so that's massive for us right there, as our teammate is only 11 points ahead of us. So it's a good starting point for us, so I'm very happy to score finally some points on the board, as I mentioned there. For the constructors, we're now up to 4th now, tied on points with Force India, and we get ahead of Williams as well. So it's a good, promising start from us there, as we are the best of the rest, if you take out Ferrari, Mercedes and Red Bull. So I'm very happy with that. So good start to the season then for Toro Rosso on there, and let's see what that meant for the casual resource points and all that malarkey. And then that will be it, guys. So while we go through that, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this episode of this career mode, and we'll be back tomorrow for another race, which will be at Russia for the next round of the season, and potentially a good one, as we've got some decent amount of points there. 125 there, as we're going to go now to this. So we did well there, and we didn't do well there, so we lost it again. But we didn't there, so we're not on target for 8th place in the Drivers' Championship. But I'm going to end it there, guys. So thank you very much for watching this, and we will see you in Russia for the next episode of this career mode. But until tomorrow, guys, thank you very much for watching, and make sure to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any of the live career mode live streams as well. But until then, guys, have a fantastic